Hi everyone, I'm April and you're watching the Tangled Cat Speaks. Okay, so it's only been a month this time, so that's good. Making progress. I hope you all have been well. I hope for those of you who celebrated Thanksgiving, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And we are in the Christmas season, if you didn't notice. There are so many Vlogmas podcasts coming out, and all of the Advent reveals and all of that kind of stuff. It's very exciting. So lots of Christmassy things going on. And you know, that last push to get gifts done and bought and wrapped and sent and all of that. So it's a fun time, but it's also, it can be a little bit stressful. Thankfully, I got, I think I mentioned last time, I got my Christmas knitting done early. And I gave it early because I really wanted them to have it for now that it's getting cold. So they may be getting something small for Christmas itself, but basically that's what I did. I don't know, can you really consider those Christmas gifts? I mean, that's what they were meant for, but I don't know. Anyway, so excuse me. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. And if you are new, welcome. I am a knitter and crocheter, and I am in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, which is just outside of Albuquerque in the United States. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. Let's see, so let's go ahead and get into some knitting. The first thing that I want to show you are some socks. These were my Halloween socks that I used. The colorway was Graveyard Smash. These are them done. There's one sock, there's the other, they're both there. Now, it looks funny here because I made these knee-high length. I started at the toe and went all the way up, did a fish lips kiss heel, and then continued up until about the point where I would have normally started for a cuff, and then started doing some increases. And I showed these the last time, but I just did a bunch of increases, every 2 increase stitches every other row until I went from 64 stitches to 100. And so all of those increases are in this length section here. And then from there, I just knit straight up, and then I did an extra long cuff. So from the side, it looks funny, but they fit me perfectly. I tried them on constantly as I was making them. They fit perfectly. I did the extra long cuff. Now I will say with the cuff, normally you do a stretchy bind off because you want to make sure you're going to get it over the heel. But because these were increased so much, there's no need for that. And what I did was actually did a slightly tighter bind off because these literally come up to the bend in my leg, right below my knee. So, you know, at least in my legs, and I have chubby legs, you know, but you got the ankle area, and then the calf gets bigger, which you can see by the shape of my sock. And then once you get past the fullest part of the calf, it kind of goes in just a little to where the knee begins to bend. That's where I wanted it a little tighter so that it is less likely to slide down, because this doesn't have any give. It's less likely to slide down my leg because it's a little bit tighter. I have to use my hand to slide them over my calf when I want to get them off. Not that they're tight or like it cuts off circulation or it's difficult or anything to pull them on or off. It just adds a little bit of resistance so that they stay up when I'm wearing them. So that's them. And I did make the cuff longer. It's longer than what you would think to use for a sock, but it's because this is where I ran out of this yarn. And I really wanted it to get up to just below my knee. So that's why that's an extra long cuff. But I love them. They fit good. They're warm. So I'm super, super, super excited about these. And I'll put all the information for the yarn. It was Graveyard Smash. I want to say Bumblebee Acre Farm. I'm not sure if I have that right. Anyway, so that's these socks. And look, they're so thick and warm. I did them on a US 2, and I normally do my socks on a 1.5, but I couldn't find my 1.5 9-inch circulars. So I did these on a 2, and they still came out fine. There doesn't seem like there's that much difference. I used the same 64 stitches. Everything seems fine. So this, when they have been washed, I do have sock blockers, but I didn't think the sock blockers were going to matter on these because they're so long. And then it's got this going on. But I really like them, and I love the colors. They're so fun, and they're super warm. So I was very excited to get those done. Let's see. So that was my only finish object. I have a whole bunch of whips, but the biggest one that I've really been trying to get done is the Spring Connection jacket by Drops. And I told you I was using 11 different colors from Toad Hollow yarns. So I made some progress on that. That's upside down. I gotta be very careful because some of these panels have gotten so long that if I don't pay attention, they slide off my needle. It is so very cumbersome at this point, but I'm almost done. I've got 4 more panels. So I'm working on a bottom panel now. Then I've got a panel on this side and 2 panels on this side that I need to get done. And then I'll do the seaming and then the sleeves. And I'll talk about the sleeves in a second. So let me turn it the right way. I'm not really going to be able to show you how this looks because it's so huge. This is basically the back neck. And then this is kind of, it's so weird. This is one side. This would be, I guess, an armhole, but I'm not sure how that's going to sew together. And I mean, that's really huge. I could put 2 of my own heads in this. I'm not sure how this is going to sew up. I'm on gauge. So I'm a little bit nervous about why that is so big for an armhole. I think there's a little bit of magic folding to get it to make kind of a sort of shawl collar, but I don't know how it's all going to work. This is the other side. And as you can see, all 11 colors, it just makes it so wild. So wild. And I'm making the biggest size, but I'm almost to where I need to be, just working on it slowly. And it's nice now because it's big and it sits in my lap. And it's chilly out and it just keeps me warm while I'm working on it. So it's perfect. And it's garter, super easy. So I'm just curious to see what it's going to look like when I sew it up, because right now it just looks like that's going to be not right, but I'm trying very, very hard to trust the pattern, trust the pattern, trust the pattern. So that's where I'm at with that. I was hoping to have had it done by this podcast, but I got tempted to do another test knit. So I started one. And this is another sweater. This is going to be a pullover. I was watching a live stream that Marina Skua had done. She's a designer out of Bath, England. Super sweet. I just love her podcast on YouTube. And it's just I don't know what the word is. Just a very homey, slow kind of life. And her making and everything is just so pretty. And she was talking on this live stream. It's the first time I've ever caught one of her live streams, so I was very excited about that. But she was talking about a test knit she was putting out a call for, and it was for a pullover she calls Boscular. And I'll put up a picture of her version of it. But it's got a real pretty patterned yoke, and then the rest is solid. And it's color work. It's stranded color work. So the yarn I'm using is Bijou Basin Ranch, which they're no longer in business, which is very sad because I love this particular yarn. I've made a couple of things from this already. I made a shawl, 2 shawls. I've made 2 shawls with this yarn. This is the Bijou Basin Ranch 100% yak down in sport weight. This was the natural brown, and this is the natural cream. Super, super, super soft. This is the softest yarn that I own. And when they were going out of business, I might have mentioned this at the time that the business was closing, Bijou Basin Ranch. I went crazy and bought so much of their yarn that they were just clearing out, and I have a lot in there. This is my favorite. Love, love, love it. So this is what I've got going so far. She did say it was okay to show on social media. I'm not real far. I've done the neckband. She did put short row shaping the back of the neck, and I'm doing the color work now. And I'm not a proficient. I wouldn't call myself proficient at color work, and I did go up a needle size to make sure that it's not scrunching in too much. So I think it's gonna work out. It's just I wouldn't call myself proficient, so I'm taking my time with it, not trying to rush, not trying to, this is what, if I'm doing this and I've got a show on TV, I can't listen to audiobook with this because I can't focus. And if it's something that I have on the television, it's probably something I've already seen before, or something that's just kind of noise in the background. One of those, is it Netflix? There's this kids show called The Last Kids on Earth or something. It was like 3 seasons. It was like 20-30 minutes long episodes, and just noise in the background, just something I can glance up and be like, oh, that's cute. But I'm mostly focusing on this because color work and brioche. Man, I have to concentrate with those. But I'm liking how it's coming out, and I'm super excited to have a finished sweater. And once I get past the yoke and then divide for the sleeves and the body, it's just going to be straight stockinette all the way down. So I am super excited. This feels like it's going fast already. And the sample photograph is so pretty. So, so, so pretty. So I've been working on this, and it's kind of made me slow down a little bit on the other, on the spring connection jacket that I've been working on, just because I needed to jump in with another test knit. And it's super pretty. And I've been wanting to make one of her patterns already. And then when it was a test knit, I'm like, yep, I'm down. I'm going to do it. I've done a few test knits now. I got a few under my belt. I could do this. So I'm super excited about that. I'm hoping, I'm on a deadline with this one. And I think it's the end of December that I got to have this done, I think. Oh, no. No, it's the end of January that I have to have this done by. But I don't want to drag it on that long. I'll probably have this done by the end of the month. I'm crossing my fingers, but I'll definitely have it done before her deadline. Super excited about it though. And I can't say enough about this yarn, and I just wish they hadn't gone out of business. But I love the yak down. Love it. Love, love, love it. And then I also talked to you all last time about the Advent that I had gotten from Toad Hollow for Christmas, and that I had already opened them. I got a comment from a Lefty Knitter podcast, and they just said that I should have more restraint. I don't have that. That is not something I have. It's been very, and you know, the other Advents in the past, there have been some that I've done with restraint, and I've done them in the order that they just came out randomly in the package. You know, I did the number, followed it. I didn't want to do that this year. 2020 was not the year of restraint for me. So yeah, that wasn't going to happen. But I started working on a project with that. I did mention there was, I got the 12 skein Advent instead of the 24. So there's the 12 mini skeins, and then I got the Island of Misfit Toys mini skein set that they also did. And that was 6 of them. So that's 18. And then I needed one other, for yardage purposes, I needed one other color. So that's actually the one that I started with on my project. And I'm making a poncho. It's called the Dusk Poncho, and it's a free pattern. And it's made in 2 rectangles. So what I'm doing is each day I'm using one color. I'm doing half in one panel and half in the other. Actually, that's kind of true, because this was the first color, and this was an extra yarn that I had from back when Maker's Haven was doing yarn. I know she stopped for a while. I don't know if she started doing that again, or if she's not doing yarn forever. But I know a while back she had made an announcement that she wasn't going to be doing that anymore. But this was one of the yarns that I had gotten. And it's a grayish, like a grayish blue, slightly tonal color. It's looking more lavender on here, but it's definitely like a cadet blue, like a slate blue maybe. It's blue gray. This is how much I had left after doing the 2 sections. I was able to get 2 repeats of the pattern per panel. So technically 4 repeats, if that makes sense. And I was also able to use 2 grams of it in my, did I bring it in here? Oh, I did. In my memory blanket. And then this is still what I had left. So I could probably use all of these minis for something something else. So this was, let me show you what that particular color looks like. I feel like I'm all over the place and just rambling, and it's because I just had a Coke. And I haven't had a Coke in a while. I've been drinking ginger ale. So the caffeine is like, where is it? Where did I put it? This thing has gotten pretty big, and I've already got, I decided how many squares I wanted for the length and how many squares I wanted for the width. So I've got this long strip on both edges, and I know that I'm not going to make it any longer than that. So I'm basically just filling it in now. Anyway, this is the color, the first color. And then today I worked on the second color, which actually was one of the Island of Misfit Toys, and that's this. So I knew I was going to have leftover, so I went ahead and did the square first. And the project, the poncho that I'm talking about, the Dusk Poncho, is here. This is one of the panels, and both of them are to about this stage. I think I've got 1 or 2 more rows left on the other part. I've got them on 2 separate needles. My Chow Goose, I've got, this is a 32-inch length, I think, or is it a 40? And the other one is a 16. So it's kind of scrunched up on the other one, but that's fine. It works. And they're both US 7s. So that's, what is that, a 4.5 millimeter? Yeah. And so this is what it's looking like. And it's definitely gonna block out longer and taller, but it's got a little bit of lace and some cables. And what I'm doing, it's on a 7 because I'm holding mohair. This is Knit Picks Aloft in the silver. I'm holding that with the fingering weight. So this is the one I'm telling you. One of the Island of Misfit toys. This is what it looks like in a ball. This is what it looked like knit up in the square. And then held together with the mohair. It's really pretty too. And there's still, you could, even though it's mohair and variegated yarn, you can still see the definition in the cables. So I'm excited about that. We'll see what happens when I get to some of the other more wild colors. But I'm loving it, and it's going, but you know, it's really relaxing. It's a 6 row repeat, and it just seems to go by really quick. There's really only one row you got to think about, and that's the cable row. So it's super easy and it's relaxing. It's something I can do early in the morning because my cats don't let me sleep in. They wake me up as soon as they see any kind of light coming through the windows. So I was up early this morning knitting. But yeah, this thing is getting huge. My knitted, I'm not using the Cozy Memory blankets, but it's under that same style. There's a whole bunch of them. This one is a free version, and it's called Knitted Patchwork Recipe, I think it's called. But so many different yarns. I think the only place that I repeated anything was right here. These 2 squares, even though they kind of look different, they're actually from the same ball because it was one of those long color repeat for self-striping socks, but the stripes would be really fat. So you can see this color here is the same as this outer color here. Anyway, I was saying that because other than that, I haven't repeated any colors. And like this one here looks like this because I had 2 really tiny balls of color. So I just striped them. But other than that, I haven't repeated any colors yet. So with all of this Advent, I'm doing the square, and then I'm going back and putting half in this panel and then half in the second panel. And then I'll still have some more left over. Maybe I'll make some Franken socks or something. I just got mohair in my nose. Oh my goodness. So yeah, so you know, it's a big bang for your buck. Got 1, 2, probably 3 projects with the one Advent kit, so, and the Island of Misfit Toys. So that's exciting. I'm just having so much fun with it, and it's just every day I'm like, well, which one should I work on? And then I'm like, I'll just do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and just taking my time. I'm not trying to rush. I'm not, the only thing that I have a deadline for is that Boscular pullover, but she's given such a long or a big window for the deadline. It's a nice big chunk of time she's given us to knit, so I don't feel pressured. It's very relaxing, and I'm having a really good time with it. And that's really all I'm working on right now. I know I said I was going to pull out my campsite cardie and work on that and hopefully get that done by the end of the year. And I still might, but that kind of got pushed to the side when I started this test knit for Marina Skua. I'm not mad at it. It is what it is, and plans change, and it's all fun and enjoyable anyway. So there's no point in saying, oh, feeling bad because you've got something that's been a pending whip forever. I don't really feel bad. I have a lot of whips, and there have been some of those whips that I've gone through and frogged, and some of them that are still sitting there because I still have faith in them. But I don't feel guilty for having as many as I have. And I don't feel guilty when I got a frog, and I don't feel guilty when I decide, well, I don't like it. I don't feel guilty because all of it is knitting and all of it is what I love. So even if I don't end up liking it, it's still what I love. If that makes sense. Yeah, so that's all my knitting. There's really not a whole lot for me to talk about this time because, like I said, I'm just really trying to be a little bit more focused because I want to get my Advent done. I really want to just be in the Advent moment. And I did that with all of the other Advents in the past. Like the Advent is my big thing. So I'm just kind of being mellow with it, and I'm not going to cast on any new things until January. As if, I'm going to start something new at some point. Let's see. So I have been watching a lot of shows, and there's so many that I don't even know if I could name them all. Because I don't know if I mentioned, I think I did. I'm not working at all now. I've completely retired. But, I'm staying home a lot, which doesn't bother me because I'm a hermit crab anyway. I'm definitely introverted. But that means because I'm not working, I've got a lot of time to knit and watch shows or listen to audiobooks and stuff like that, or even just sit and read books. So I've got more time to do stuff like that. And I've been going through binge watching things like crazy. Let's see. I'm about halfway through all of the Clone Wars for Star Wars. Definitely watching The Mandalorian. My daughter got me into some more anime, so I watched a show called Death Note. Really interesting. Really, really interesting. Blood of Zeus was another anime, which it was all right, but because I was always into Greek mythology, that one was kind of like, I see where the differences are, and I don't know if I like it or not. I didn't hate it, but I was like, I don't know. But there was that. Let's see, The Crown, obviously, British Bake Off. What else? Just a whole bunch of things. Yeah, there's so many I can't think of them right now. I haven't really watched a whole lot of just movies. I'm not really a Christmas movie person, so I'm not like watching all the Christmas things. Sometimes I'll throw something on, but it just happens to be like a random thing, not because I'm like feeling nostalgic for Christmas. Like I couldn't decide on what I wanted to watch the other night. It was just so many on my to-do list, my watch list. And I'm like, I can't decide if any of those. I'm just going to pick this one. And I ended up watching the Christmas Chronicles 2. I've never seen Christmas Chronicles 1. I enjoyed it. It was good background noise. I wasn't really paying that much attention to it. But, there's a lot of stuff that I've watched like that. Like it just kind of like, I don't know what to watch. I'm just going to put this random thing on. Let's see. And then reading. I'm reading Like Water for Chocolate. I just started that a couple nights ago. I've read that one years and years ago, and I love that movie so much. And it's definitely not a Christmas book, but it feels cozy to me. I don't know if you've ever read it. It's a little bit, actually it's a lot of bit sad. There's a lot of sadness and heartbreak in that one, but it also feels cozy. I don't know how to explain it, but it's such a really, really interesting book. And there's a part where she just feels, because of the sadness that the main character is going through, she starts crocheting this big giant blanket because she just feels like she can never get warm. She's just that sad and so depressed. And it's manifesting itself in cold. Her body's cold, and she just keeps crocheting on this big giant blanket. And for some reason, that's just like, it's winter, I'm gonna read that because it's cold and blanket. I don't know. So I started reading that. Let's see, and what am I listening to right now? The Death of Mrs. Westaway. The Death of Mrs. Westaway. And I think that's Her name is Ruth, the author, Ruth Ware, I think is what it is. It's a really good book. It's about a girl who is contacted by an attorney who says that she's inherited some money from her grandmother, but she's not sure that she's the right person. Anyway, it's she thinks that they have the wrong person, but she's still going through with and trying to say that she is, because she's down on her luck with money. So it's one of those where you're like, you know that the main person is doing something wrong, but you're still kind of rooting for them. This is weird, but I'm enjoying it. It's on audio, and the person who's reading it has really good pacing and really good voice and all of that. So I'm really enjoying that. And then this is what I'm reading. I've been reading this one for a little bit now. I'm just kind of taking it slow because it's huge. Now, this was I've mentioned this before. My library has a free cart, and I just grab random things. And honestly, I grabbed this because I like the way that the cover is printed, and it just looks so vintage, like maps and scrolls and words. And I don't know. It just looked old. I know nothing about this book. I didn't even read the inside cover when I got it off the free cart. I was like, the historian, and I just liked that. And it's a stupid reason to pick a book. Turns out this book is about a girl who's trying to find out information on a strange book that she found in her father's library, and he's telling her the story about this, but there's like a whole bunch of bad stuff attached to it, but all of that bad stuff kind of is related to Vlad the Impaler, aka Dracula. So the real Dracula, but it could also be that the real Dracula really is a vampire as depicted by fiction. So it's like, is he really just a crazy murderous person, or is he actually a vampire? And I didn't expect that, because I literally just a few weeks ago finished re-listening to Bram Stoker's Dracula. So I had no clue, and I was super excited when I got to the page, and I was like, oh, that's what she's looking for? Oh my God. I was super excited. Totally nerded out. And I've just been like taking this one really, really slow and savoring it. It's kind of written a little bit like Bram Stoker's Dracula, in that there's letters. Like a lot of the research that she's doing into her father's past is through letters, because, you know, of course he's going to go missing, and now she's got to figure all of this out. So it's done through letters, not as extensively, you know, like Bram Stoker's Dracula is entirely in letter form, diary form. There's no back and forth dialogue. That's not an account of somebody else saying the dialogue, if that makes sense. This one has more of a modern narrative to it, but there is a lot of reading other letters from other people and stuff like that. So I just found it very exciting. I was like, that's so cool. I love Dracula. Just coming off of the spooky season. It was just a nice surprise, because like I said, it was a random book that I picked off the free cart at the library. And I've had that in my closet for a very long time. I didn't ever read it because I didn't know what it was. It was just kind of there, and I'm like, that's a big book. I don't want to read it. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I got it. It's going to stay in my closet. And it stayed in there for a long, long time. And then I finally decided that's the one I'm going to pull out, and pleasantly surprised. And I really like the writing style. Very much enjoying it. I'm going to show you my bookmark, because I lose bookmarks and I'm always just grabbing random things. A while back, I ordered a poster from Katie Green from the Green Bean podcast. She did she does the scratch. She's a very good artist, a wonderful, wonderful artist. Knits, sews, all kinds of things, but she's a graphic artist, I think. I don't know if that's what you call it, but she draws for a living. And she sometimes does the little where it's like black and then you like scratch it off. I don't know what that's called. But she had done a poster of all different sheep breeds. And I ordered it. And when I got that, and then this was, gosh, months and months and months and months and months and months and months ago. But when I got it in the mail, and she does comics, like she calls them zines. But it's like in a comic book format. And I bought a couple of those too. But when I got it, this little piece of cardboard was in the package. And it just says, she's got a little cute doggy that looks exactly like this. She drew it exactly like what her dog looks like. But it says, join Katie and Jack, that's the dog name, on YouTube, www.youtube.com at Katie Green Bean. I'm going to put that there. But I just love her style of drawing, and it's just adorable. And this just happened to be on my bedside table. Oh, I messed it up right there. When I was looking for a bookmark. And so that's what I'm using as a bookmark. Because I have bookmarks. I don't know where they are. And that's really all that has been going on this month as far as my knitting. I hope to have all the 3 things that I just showed you done by the end of the month. And then we'll start something new in January. I'm going to go continue to listen to the death of Mrs. Westaway. I think I've got about 6 hours left in that book. So I think I'm going to spend the rest of the day doing that. And we'll see what I start next. I'm not sure. I think I mentioned a while back I was reading through all of the Star Wars like expanded universe kind of stories. And there's one that because I'm watching Clone Wars now, there's a character that comes up, Ventress, I think her name is. And I think this next book that I need to read in the Star Wars universe, it's called Dark Disciple, and I think it's her story. So it's like the right time since I'm in the middle of watching the Clone Wars series. So that might be my next book. I think I just now, you witnessed it. That was my decision. Yeah, that's it. Christmas is coming up, so I hope that you all have a wonderful Christmas. I hope that you get to spend time with, I know with COVID and everything, it's hard to say. I hope you get to spend time with family, but with whoever you can spend time with, however you can spend time with, whether it's in person, Zoom, Skype, FaceTime, whatever it is. I hope you get to spend that some quality time connecting, whatever that means for us or for you or for everyone during this time. I hope you get to spend some quality time connecting with those that you love. And congratulations to all of us. We've made it through 2020, just about. A few more weeks left, and hopefully 2021 is going to be a better year. So I will see you all next time. And again, thank you for spending a little bit of your day taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend some time with me. And we'll see you next time. Bye.